what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Welcome into the Hump Day edition of your show. Still, as far as we know, the only live show on YouTube here in Saskatoon to go Monday to Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's pretty cool to be on top of that as well. We like to make up categories that we're number one in, and today we are the number one show in the category of having 2 pre-tapes along with a double Zoom. That's pretty good. Got Phenom in the house. Phenom, say hello. Look at him. Also the only show to have an entire hand that runs the whole show. It's crazy. We go by the family, what's it, the Addams Family rules? It's just like the hand. Thing, I think it's called. I always get Thing and Cousin It mixed up. I can do a good Cousin It impression with my hair. Maybe I'll do it someday, but today is not that day. My name is Gary, your buxom host, and I'm so proud to present to you today the only reason people come around here to see the most majestic animal in the history of the universe. Here's the proof. It is the Maggie Cam, proudly brought to you by our incredible friends at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Mike and Rochelle and Margaret's beautiful boyfriend, Leroy, always there to make your day the greatest day of your life. And if you go after hours or on the weekends, you'll see Kirsten, Shar, or Chris, and they will also give you that same exact incredible service that you've come to grow and expect from our friends at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Look at her. Like, she's so majestic, and she knows right now. She closes her eyes for a bit, takes a little nap, and then when she wakes up, it's supper time. And we actually have to get some more food from Pet Planet on 8th Street, so we'll be going there and maybe shooting a Halloween episode of Adventures with Maggie, which is a little thing we do around here, so be on the lookout for all of that as Margaret slowly drifts off into Puppy Dreamtown. Man, she's cute. All right, so here's what we got going on today. Wednesdays are our days with our favorite author. His name is Adrian Belarson. He has a book out. It's incredible. It's called Teams That Swear By Each Other, Not About Each Other. It's all about learning to guide a team, to manage a team of people. If you're a boss and you're in charge of people, this is the book for you. It's actually over here. I'm going to move it. Watch this. On the fly. Got to get that product placement in. Okay, so let's just put that right about there. Look at that. But then it's covering up the shirt. We'll go over here. Beautiful. That's the book. And now, we aren't only going to check in with him, but Coach Mazer usually hops on these as well. He couldn't make it across town today as he was still at work, but his work is done. So I believe it is time to check in. Oh, the hand looks scared. Are you scared, Phenom? It's okay. Do you want me to wait a bit? Yeah, okay. Let's go on with him for now, and then let us know if Coach number 2 shows up, because I know he is very busy. So we'll check in now with our good friend on the other side of the world. His name is Coach number 1 around here. There he is. AJ, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, very good, GM. Very good.
So Maze was going to join us, but I'm not sure. We'll wait and see if he hops in, but we'll just start our conversation because I got a bunch of stuff that I want to get to, baseball related today. You all right with that?
Ooh. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so basically, I went on a little rant yesterday, and the rant was, well, the precipice of it all was the passing of the great Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, the greatest to ever hit a baseball, and also not in the Hall of Fame. And we went off about how, to me, it's embarrassing that the Hall of Fame doesn't acknowledge only the greatest hitter of all time, but the greatest dinger soccer of all time as well in the great Barry Bonds. And so I looked at it as sort of a black eye for the Baseball Hall of Fame because 2 of the greatest players to ever play the game aren't in the Hall. And I know there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes around that. You got the steroids era, and I went into a rant about that. Then you got the gambling stuff with Pete Rose. I want to get your take as the world. We could say they celebrated his life yesterday, right? Like all the games that were on, all the playoff games were saying, "Oh, rest in peace, the great Pete Rose," and this and that. What's your thoughts on these two guys being left out of the Hall of Fame?
Well, let's start with Pete Rose.
Yes.
When I read about it, I think in a group that coach number 2 and I are in. I felt sad. And one, he passed away, that's sad, but I felt sad because he never got to experience getting into the Hall of Fame. And I think he will get in. I think they will do it. But it's too bad they couldn't have done it while he was alive. Because I don't know if that means, at least publicly, it seems, is there anybody else who wants to be in it more than him?
Yeah. Man. He spent his whole post-playing career trying to get in. That was his thing. He just wanted to get in before he passed away. And it's to me, it felt like baseball was laughing in his face the entire time. They already had their mind made up. And you know what? You're not getting in until you die, buddy. So do whatever you want. But everything you're trying to do is all for naught because we will not do that. And it's such a petty move to me.
So the word that comes into mind is like, where will these players ever be forgiven for what they did? Now, I think the gambling bit, when was he doing that? Kind of mid-'80s, late 80s, I think is when he was doing it. And at that time, I don't know how well understood gambling was, and I don't even know how legal gambling was at that time. So I could see at that time where MLB raises a big question. Plus, you're betting on your own games. When he was a player manager, and you're going, hey, that's not good, the integrity of the game. But I think the game, I mean, look at gambling now.
Yeah.
Major revenue source.
That's all it is.
And again, like he made a mistake. Let's move on. On the field, he was great. That's what the Hall of Fame is for. So I think Pete Rose should be in there.
Yes.
Barry Bonds. Oh, there's a little bit of me that still struggles to say the ones in the steroids, they get to go in because you get into the Hall of Fame based on your individual performance.
Yes.
Now, did gambling make Pete Rose a better player? Make him a better hitter? I don't think so. Steroids. Now, I'm not a doctor. Well, I don't even know if you need to be a doctor to understand the impact. Anyways, I'm not one of those smart people who understand what steroids do. But outside of make you stronger, you recover quicker. And it's probably safe to say they were rampant during that era. But that's the one I'm still like, that impacts, that gives you a leg up, gives you an advantage, an illegal advantage over other players, whether it's in your era, the ones before, the ones after. And I guarantee there's probably people who were on steroids that are in there that maybe they didn't admit it, they're not known.
Of course there is. Like okay, we're going to see if we can bring coach number 2 in here. I hear from Phenom here that he is on the line, so let's go now and try to do a little double zoom here and see what happens. Here we go. Oh, I see him. He's in his truck. He's driving. Coach 2, can you hear us? Interesting. Okay, we can't.
Muted.
I think you're muted, buddy. Are you muted? Here we go.
Yeah, I'm muted.
There you are.
I didn't want you guys to come hit me up, and then I pull over to the side of the road, and I'm still in gear, and my seatbelt's off, and the buzzer's beeping, and all that stuff would just be a disaster. So,
well, you accomplished it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm here. And if you look here, in the back, as always, is my old school glove and my fungo bat. So I could go on the side of the road and hit some fly balls to some gophers if I really wanted to.
I love that. Always prepared.
Hey, can I ask Maisie a quick question?
Yes.
Maze, what kind of fungo do you have there?
It's a Rawlings 34-inch. It's probably about a 32 ounce, so it's not light by any.
Whoa.
It's a bit of a beast. It's almost the opposite of a fungo, but it was just a whim buy at when I was in Al Anderson's. I needed something, but I have a nice new one I got as a coach's gift, but it's too nice. I don't want to use it, so it's hanging in my garage. But by Rival Sports, a group out of Regina. They made a deal with, I don't know who spins their bats, but they have some Chinese group probably that makes 44 gloves. They also are making custom gloves for Rival, and they have the drippy arm sleeves, and they have the batting gloves, and they're at all these ball tournaments, and kids are just littered with this Rival. It's a great business.
Can you tell everybody what a fungo bat is? Just I can imagine people are wondering what the hell we're talking about right now.
Well, a fungo is like a coach's bat. So it's something that should be easier to wield, a little bit easier to hit fly balls on. The barrel's really small. It's a skinnier bat. And it's just something that a coach carries around. And the real good ones, like one of the Orioles coaches, whose name's leaving me right now, but he can hit as if he's throwing balls in the dirt at first baseman. He can just hit it perfectly, and it's just the perfect bounce for first baseman to work on their short hops or long hops.
It's great for infields.
Probably doozies of fly balls and spin them back just like Sheldon Sawatsky for catching practice. Hit them like a mile in the air and spin them back 10 feet and simulate a foul ball.
Yeah,
but
I'm just
anyway,
discombobulated.
we're up here. You're talking about Pete Rose, and the steroid thing that I have an issue with, AJ, that you kind of, that I interrupted on, was you're right. Like, that's a performing enhancing drug, right? But there's been stuff in the MLB that guys have been using all the time, right? Like spitballs, any way to cheat. The game's all about cheating. So are they not going to put in? Is Jose Altuve not going to make it because he allegedly wore a wire, which is shown in photos, and was giving him what pitches are coming in the biggest event that the game has to show? So there's cheating that way. The one thing I've been going back and forth in my head for ages about the Barry Bonds thing, because he had Hall of Fame worthy stats before he got fed up with everyone being all happy with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, the big race. And he's like, you want me to hit 70 bombs? I can, but I'm going to have to get a little bit more jack. So some of my balls that stop at the 320 are going to sail over. So I'll do it. He said that in an interview. I remember watching him, and he was not bulky. He's just like, I'll just bulk up the next few years and I'll do it. And so he did. So my one argument is, like, he would have been in the Hall of Fame before he did that. And we shouldn't forget about Pete Rose. We're now talking about Bonds, but he had a Hall of Fame stats. Now, the devil's advocate side of me is like, okay, well, maybe someone of the community, like say Adrian in his community, is valued, and then he goes and murders somebody. So he does a whole bunch of volunteer work for like, he's so good, such a great person. It's like, oh, are we going to just stop respecting him because he goes out and murders people? Well, probably, right? So it's like, so we like Bonds up to a point, and then he cheats. It's like, okay, I understand the Jeff Lamferman and the Chad Cranky side of things saying he's a cheat. Where I go with AJ is, like, if there's a guy that maybe makes a bad choice in his rookie year, gets on the juice, then he comes back, he serves a suspension, does time, he's clean for the rest of his career, and puts up a Hall of Fame worthy career, is he not a Hall of Famer anymore? He serves his penalty, and then he comes in and he does something sweet. So we're going off on a crazy tangent, and that's always the argument on who gets into the Hall of Fame and if it's a sham. It is a shame that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. I will say that he's probably top 30. He's not like top 10 of all time. He's top 30 player. He's amazing.
Pete Rose?
Stats wise, yes.
What?
Is anybody ever going to get more hits than
how
Pete
many
Rose?
hits do you need, bro? Come on. We're 4,000
but
hits.
It's like, so Cal Ripken's an Iron Man. So he could play, and he got a ton of hits. Yes, he got 3,000 hits from the left side and however many from the right side. I understand all that.
I don't think you do.
Like,
what?
It's like 20 seasons of 200 hits. 20,
amazing.
not
amazing.
one.
Amazing. amazing. But
You think he's top 30?
I guarantee we could go on a rip here of players that, but still, how many players are in the Hall of Fame?
A lot.
A lot. So that you'd think a top 30 player should be in the Hall of Fame, whether he gambled or not.
Dude, but this is like the whole argument with Pete Rose is that he is the greatest baseball player ever to play the game. He did the most important thing that you have to do, the hardest thing on planet Earth to do. He did it better than anyone else in the history of the universe of this sport. No one anywhere has more hits. The name of the game is get hits. That's all the dude did from both sides. And you're telling me that that's not enough to be the greatest of all time?
So Babe Ruth,
how many people do you think are in the Hall of Fame? I just looked that up.
Oh, I would say 300 plus.
127.
I thought there'd be more. GM was very close. 346.
346.
There you go. You're telling me that there's 346 players better than Pete Rose.
I went light.
I don't think anybody's arguing whether his numbers. So
yeah, we are getting off track.
I was talking to my dad this week. I was showing him how to be able to watch this show more often. So we got another regular viewer out there.
Hello, Mr. Belarzon.
And he said, "Oh, amazing! He's smart. He's switched on." And I'm going to agree with him today because I didn't realize Bonds, if it's based on performance and numbers, and his numbers were Hall of Fame before he got on the juice, based on what we know. And I'm kind of coming over going, yeah, maybe he should be in then, based on those numbers.
But did he ruin the integrity of the game by coming out almost post-steroid era? Like, it was after there had been issues with it. And you know what's funny? The other thing about Bonds, he was never proven guilty. Right? Like, he was accused of cheating, but they never got him for it. So because they couldn't do it, they say, yeah, but nobody's going to vote for you because it comes from a voting panel. And some guys vote for him every year. A few of them. Now I don't think he's even on the ballot anymore.
Yeah.
He was getting a couple votes. But no one wanted to stick their neck out. People are too afraid to just
that's the problem. And
do the right thing.
I'll take this one step further for you. And I sort of explained this yesterday. The whole precipice of the steroid era was to bring people back because the Montreal Expos were about to win the World Series and they didn't want Canada winning 3 years in a row. That's too much. So the league said, instead of Canada getting 3 in a row, we're going to go on strike and we're going to ruin baseball for everyone. And then they do that. And now they have a huge issue. What do people love more than anything else in baseball? Chicks dig the long ball, man. That's all you do. They purposely allowed every player in Major League Baseball to get as juiced up as they want to save the sport. If it was illegal at the time, if it wasn't an option for Barry Bonds to go and say, well, I'll do what everyone else is doing if that's what you guys want, then we would have a problem. All he did was do legal stuff that the league allowed him to do, and then the league says, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You're not getting in now. That's what pisses me off.
I wish you would have said that in your James Earl Jones voice.
That'd be good. But it's outrageous to me.
I think
it's hard to argue with that. It's hard to argue with that.
I think we're doing a disservice to Pete Rose by sidewinding into the steroid talk, right?
That's
like
fair.
We're trying to compare apples to apples, and I'm get that as well. I would rather go like shoeless Joe Jackson, the eight White Sox, the Black Sox that are banned for allegedly gambling or allegedly cheating, and we can go to the history. That's essentially what Field of Dreams, the movie we love.
Yeah.
The precipice around, I guess, for W.P. Kinsella that wrote the book was creating a story around some beloved baseball players that are now in the Hall of Shame, the Hall of Fame, right? So, I mean, Pete Rose, Hall of Famer. Baseball has an issue with not forgiving when they should. Like, I mean, there's that embarrassing moment in the top 50, and it boiled my dad over as well. That what is that guy for NBC or Fox? He was on the field, and then he just started grilling Pete Rose about why he did things in the past and stuff like that. When they at least turned the page and brought him out for the top 50. And I don't know what he was, 13 or something like that, or 14. You could understand why he might be lower down the list for me now, Gary. Anyway, but my dad was so upset that they just embarrassed him on national TV and just let the guy have a moment. Did he have a shaky past? Yes. It's so hard with the Hall of Fame if it's about playing, like your resume, but also your personal resume and how you conduct yourself. And if you're an asshole to the voters, then they're probably not going to vote for you, right? Like, as in anything that you're up for. If I wanted to be president of some youth sports team, but I am an asshole to everybody that's going to support me, well, guess what? I'm probably not going to get in. So Pete Rose can blame himself a little bit, but it should be bigger than that. When you put up iconic numbers,
it's not iconic numbers, Mace. These are the greatest numbers in the history of the sport ever.
You throw greatest ever. I guarantee we have another thing. We talked about Hank Aaron once. He was the greatest ever, and Willie Mays was the greatest ever. And Babe Ruth was,
hits.
Yeah.
Hits. The greatest hitter in the history of the sport. How about that? Let's meet in the middle.
Is that in the middle? Greatest hitter ever. 4,000 hits. It is
fine. What's
unfathomable whether people will ever get. They probably will. But look at the hype around Vladdy in his last game. 199 hits. Everybody's, bat him lead off, all this stuff. And he did that 20 times. Equivalent of 20 times.
I watched the video.
This is going off, Maze. I'm surprised this is the way you feel about
Me too.
this.
It's like I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Don't be disappointed. I'm not denying his greatness. I'm just saying that there are more well-rounded ball players in the history of time. So you can, greatest hitter. I think there's other measures to go with that. So now I'm going to go and nerd out on some stats when I should probably sleep at 2 a.m. and I'll send you a list as to why I feel that way. I'm not denying it. It's a shame, like AJ said, that they did not induct this man while he was alive. And you got to question why. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I have no idea why they can't just bury a hatchet and put somebody in and appease a large fan base. But that's always been MLB's problem.
I think you explained it perfectly in that the people that vote for these things are so high and mighty and so above everyone else that if you dare cross them, they will exercise all powers to keep you out of the only place you've ever wanted to be since you learned about baseball. They're the gatekeepers that love to just stick it to every single person who doesn't bow down to every stupid rule they put out. That's what it is.
They're just writers, though. They're just part of the media. So you can't paint them all with that brush. It's just people are too scared to stick their neck out to lose their job. And they think, I will have less hits. I'll have less following if I'm one of the people that puts my name on that ballot. And then there's other people that go the other way. It's like, I'm going to be one of the few that do it because that's going to garner me. Those people are going to look me up and say, who voted for this guy to put him in? But
is there bullying going on with the writers? Because if they're worried about losing their job,
maybe
they don't feel psychologically safe. That's in the book, by the way, Gary.
I was going to say that sounds like a toxic workplace. Very toxic workplace right there. It's ridiculous. I don't understand.
You guys just triggered something. And I'll have to take a new stance at work for sure with some situations that have gone on. And I will have to make sure that everybody feels psychologically safe at work. Tomorrow.
It's important. You will watch your productivity go way up if you can create that environment for the people you work with. I promise you. I learned that in a book.
Unless it's flu season. But
Either way. So basically, what I'm hearing is at the very least, Pete Rose should be in and probably will get in now that he's died, because that's all these old, I'm going to be nice here, all these old writers, that's all they wanted to feed that ego was it. You're not in if you're alive. So it'll probably be within the next couple years. They'll make something happen only because, Mays, he's the greatest hitter of all time. When you have a Hall of Fame missing the greatest contact hitter and the greatest home run hitter in the history of your sport, you got an issue. I don't care if there's asterisks, I don't care what it is. When people go to the Hall of Fame 100 years from now and they look around and don't see the two most important players in all of baseball, we got a problem.
again, Willie Mays has something to say about that.
Very good.
But Babe Ruth would also maybe have an argument as well. Barry Bonds, again, greatest home run hitter. You can say with steroids, but if you take that out, he's still Hall of Fame worthy. Pete Rose is Hall of Fame worthy. The MLB has an issue, and recognizing people while they're alive should be done. But a lot of these places do. Like, you look at the NHL, and we always draw parallels to that because that's where we're from, and we're NHL fans as well. But they need to rename a lot of their trophies at the end of the year because they're named after people that aren't really stand-up people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So maybe they need to relook at those things and reassess the legacies that you celebrate and then ones that you punish. It's like, what are we doing here? So
that's well said. AJ, anything else before we send you boys on your merry way?
Well, I asked Maisie about his fungo because I just bought one. My second one in the last 2 months, because as you do, you see something at baseball and you just got to add to your collection. I think I bought the same one, but navy blue. That's why I was like 34-inch, the Rawlings.
Mine's a tank though, man. It is a tank.
Give us a close up here. Let's see what you're working with. There you go.
I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna look at mine later on. What did it say? MF. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have a look, but I like the shorter one. There's more control.
Yeah,
more control with the shorter one than the longer one.
Depends what you're doing, right? Depends what you're doing. And you know what? Also, I feel like I've gotten weaker with age, but I just don't feel that bat has a ton of pop to it.
I was the other way. The longer ones I couldn't hit good ground balls with. Now I got the 34-inch. Way more control, one hoppers. I'm pretty excited to use it again tonight.
You're not.
Hey, here, one more thing. Season opener for us this Sunday. So the summer season's starting in the Victorian Summer Baseball League. We've got 4 teams in the league. We're starting on the road. I think we're playing in Fitzroy.
Ooh.
Playing against the Lions, the Fitzroy Lions.
Yeah.
Hot right now.
So Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m., that's when our top team is playing. So last night, Mays, you stay up looking up stats. I stayed up last night making designs for social media, announcing our starting lineup that we'll be able to share tonight at dinner after training, and then we'll post it all over socials.
Congratulations. Congratulations to both of you boys, because you just proved to everybody how you earned the names Coach 1 and Coach 2. Thanks to those fungos and all of the work that you do for all the kids out there trying to get into baseball. We greatly appreciate it. Coach Mays, one more before we go.
I have one request. Can we change my name to Coach 2?
Like forever?
Like TOO.
Oh.
Yes. I believe we can do that. We'll be sure.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Phenom. Look at that.
Yes. So fast.
He's the best. Man, we have the best producers in the world. Coach number 1 and Coach 2, thank you so much for joining us on these Wednesdays. Best of luck with all the baseball to both of you guys, and we will talk to you again very soon. That was a great talk. Great job, guys. Woo! Oh, man. See, that's why we do these sort of things. That's why we reconnect with old friends. Like Adrian is literally my baseball coach growing up when I was a Cardinal. He's my coach. Mays coached all my rec teams. He's sort of my coach. I call Mays actually my shadow around it, like a ghostwriter. He's been sort of my coach for my entire radio career and whatever this career is now. He's always a guy that has so many incredible ideas. So I'm happy you got to have a little taste of why those guys are called Coach 1 and Coach number 2 as we continue on the Wednesday edition of your show. It's always a fun one. We check in with AJ. That's always great. And then we also are a big part of the Unplugged open mic night going on over at 3 Hall every Friday night from 6 to 9 p.m. As well, they got concert night at the same place on the Saturday night, also at 3 Hall. And all the bands that come through come in here and spend a couple minutes with us and allow us to promote what they're doing, what they're all about, and all that good stuff. So we are going to introduce you now to our latest band, or dare I say, man, that will be gracing the stage this Friday at 3 Hall. The Unplugged open mic at 3 Hall continues to bring music back to Broadway, and we are so proud to be a part of it, thanks to our friends with Bloom Entertainment. And we got another dude here. His name is Brandon, and this is a very unique situation. Say hello, my friend.
Hello, my name's
Nice.
Brandon.
Nice.
Like you said.
Yeah, and I like to make things awkward, too, because I think the more professional you are, the more people just sort of flub it away because everyone tries to be so professional.
Yeah.
And we were talking off air before about how this place, it's like we want to have all the professionalness done with the set so we don't have to be.
Yeah.
And we can just sort of be ourselves. And the quality of these videos sort of lifts up the professionalism.
Yeah.
So it's very cool like that. You are a very unique situation. So we've had, I think you're the 4th band to come through now. And we've talked to all of these different people. We've had people come up from the States. We've had people who have been working with other people, but we haven't had anybody sort of just starting their journey.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what you're up to.
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
So tell us what's going on.
So I started 2 years ago. I was doing just karaoke, and I would sing in the shower and
I
everything.
love that.
And,
It's my favorite place to sing too.
oh yeah, and then started at Crackers. I went up and started the league there, and
How is that?
So fun.
Yeah,
like
that's what everyone tells me when they do it.
Oh, and like especially because they have like such a performance aspect of it. Like you got to bring a prop,
Yeah.
and like so that really, and that's my thing. I
And
love
the competitiveness too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's scoreboards, like the leaderboard and
it's
everything.
crazy.
Like it was super sweet, and that really opened my eyes to like I just want to like not even just sing. I just want to entertain.
That's it.
Like that's just all I want to do. So
I can totally relate to that because that's
Yeah.
sort of what this is. I've always said I'm not really good at anything except talking.
Yeah.
It's like sort of the only thing I can sort of do. So I'm like, I got to do that somehow. So that's how this place started. So I can definitely relate to that hunger to entertain.
yeah, exactly.
So you start at Crackers, you get your vibe going, like the kids say, and you're feeling it. So then what happens?
Then, so a girl there actually that watched me ended up connecting me with Remedy.
okay.
So Remedy music label, also Remedy school,
Okay.
and like music school. Yeah.
A little bit. There you go.
And so I started with them, and I had nothing, like not writing anything, didn't know how to
love
play
that. I
guitar,
love that.
nothing,
Just a clean
green.
slate.
Yeah, clean slate.
Perfect.
And found this Graham Tilsley. I don't know if that name rings a bell.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's a session player in Saskatoon. He's done a lot of road stuff, but he started playing guitar for me, so I could kind of start singing, do some covers and writing my own stuff. I was dabbling with writing some country kind of things, and then just last December, I'm like, okay, I need to start learning how to do this myself. So when I get show opportunities, I'm not chasing people around being like, can you play for me? Can you play for me? And so in December, I just bought a guitar and just started playing. And then I started open mics. And open mics are what open everything up because that's how
That's
you
why
meet
we're here,
people.
man. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
connections, and you can make friends, and all of a sudden,
Exactly.
before you know it, you have a band without even trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like just showing up. Like I've talked to multiple artists. I like picking different people's brains and just what they're doing. And a lot of them just started out just going to an open mic and just getting those consistent, having stage time and really being able to hone.
Getting your reps in.
Exactly.
We talk about it all the time here, the importance of reps.
Mm-hmm.
The
And-
more times you do this, the better you become.
Yeah, exactly. And there's such a big difference between practicing in your house versus being on stage in front of people. That's like, and they always say like perfect practice makes perfect.
Yes.
So getting
Well,
up there and
here. We have a Tuesday night or Tuesday day, I guess, podcast that we do called the All Out of Angst podcast. I do it with Uncle Mike from the All Natural Products and our other buddy Matt from all the bands, Matt Cuthbertson. And he's in Untimely Demise and Raven Witch and Into Eternity. And he likes to tell this story. I always forget who the guy is, but I always quote the story. If I was smarter, I would remember and write it down. But a really famous guitarist, I believe it was, said 1 hour on stage is worth 50 hours of practice.
Oh, I totally
because of
believe
all the stuff that you learn, because you're forced to get through it. And
Yeah.
then every time you're forced to get through it, you get better at doing it.
Even like when you're playing a song and you miss a chord, and if you're practicing at home, it's like, okay, I'll restart the progression
Yeah.
or something. But you're
Can't do
just
that.
the band's going,
Yeah.
so you got to keep on going.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we got here, Friday night, 6 to 9, unplugged open mic over at 3 Hall. And are you getting up for a couple songs there before the Saturday night show, or are you just going to be Saturday night?
I don't know if I think it might be full already.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it gets full quickly.
Advertising's working.
Yeah,
Look at that.
exactly,
Love
yeah.
to hear that. So if you don't get up on Friday, you will be the opener on Saturday night?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you go down, you say hello, and the importance of bringing music back to Broadway. Back in my day, because I'm a really old dude now and I sort of suck in all aspects of life, but Broadway was the place you go.
Well,
Every
that-
Friday, every Saturday, you go there, you hit the bars, you hang out with the boys. That's what we did. And then, again, that's sort of left. And this whole movement of bringing it back, like, I love the idea of being an old person. You can go for a date night, 6 to 9 on Friday, and you can watch some unplugged open mic. It's really good, get some great food. Be in bed by 9, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can head out and go do Broadway.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday night, the same thing. You got all these shows going on. It's a really cool feeling to be a part of it. And I think you've sort of explained exactly why it's so important.
Oh, it's so important. And I feel like, I mean, the past 2 years, I've only been in the industry for 2 years, but there
so
hasn't
cool.
been a lot of, like, there's been a few open mics that people will host, but I've come like 3 Hall, and this whole, like, that's been the biggest.
Well,
like,
they're
the-
actually trying.
they're-
That's the thing.
yeah.
They're putting effort into it, and you can see it. Like, just by you saying it's already booked up, like, that shows how huge this has been for musicians in our city.
Oh yeah, and it's like, especially like you say, having it down on Broadway there. Like I was born and raised in a small town, and so I never really actually got to explore Broadway. So when I had that first open mic there a couple weeks ago, me and my girlfriend went and walked down Broadway. It's just a whole, like,
It's crazy.
It's
right?
amazing.
It's so sweet, and it's slowly getting back to that. Like, it was just the place that you would go, and we're slowly moving towards that, and that makes me so excited. So again, Friday night, 6 to 9, unplugged open mic at 3 Hall, and then Saturday night, you go see Brandon there, opening up the evening with some awesome music. You got any teasers for anybody? What you're gonna? I know you said you sort of dabbled in the country stuff a bit. Do you go all over the place, or
so, well, when I say country, a lot of people assume like pop country, like what's on the radio, and that's not me. I'm a little bit more like, I don't know, blues kind of folk, like Americana kind of vibe. Sam Barber is a big inspiration for me. Zach
Nice.
Bryan, just a guitar and a voice kind of deal. And
Maggie likes that,
yeah.
by the way. She's a big fan as well, apparently.
cute little pupper down there.
Yeah. So we get that sort of like, and that's another thing that's really important for guys with a clean slate and just starting out, is you don't have to be anything.
Exactly.
So make sure you remember that. Don't let anybody like force you in a corner and say you have to do that.
And
like-
I thought that I was going for the whole, like, I need to write a radio song and do that. And then talking to all these artists, I'm like,
Dude,
I don't need to do that.
No,
I'm going
it's
to do,
so different now.
Yeah.
Everything's different.
it just the whole, and even with Canadian radio, most of the Canadian or country radio is owned by like a mother company, and they play the same playlist. So to try and break through into that is just, you become the little fish in the huge ocean.
Dude.
Whereas here, if you're just writing your own thing, like there is so many, all these folk artists that are touring throughout Canada making it, they're doing their own thing.
Yep.
And that's what, I mean, you look at a Zach Bryan, like they doing his own thing, not writing for the radio, but people want that.
That's it. People are done. And I've spent over half my life in radio. And I've spent most of that time trying to get my friends' bands on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my career, because everyone says, no, you can't do that. We have a playlist. You can't put your friends on the radio.
Exactly.
And I still did. And I got in a lot of trouble. And that's sort of how I got left behind with the radio. But that's okay, because I'm just like you. I wasn't willing to be the type of radio person that everyone wants, and they still want. There's those people that are all about me, and that's fine. The big thing was the radio host job sort of turned into basically a social media host, and social media is like my demise. Like that shit just ruined my brain. I refuse to post 7 or 8 times a day about my family and what I'm eating and all that, and it mentally broke me. And they said, well, it's your job. That's what you have to do. And that was sort of like the crossroads. And there's a mutual, like, we both agreed that I wasn't meant to be there. And so we parted ways. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something that I know I can do, something that doesn't have people telling me, you have to do this, do that, do that, do that. I'm just going to do it the same way we've always been doing it. And it's been very successful so far. And it's because we didn't stop believing in ourselves. You can't let the people push you down. And it's so nice and so refreshing to hear you doing that.
And when you're trying to be someone who you're not, it's so hard to feel like you listen back to something that you wrote and you're like, that's not me. It's hard to like it.
Yeah.
So I always just want to be like, I found once I started writing the music I wanted to write, I'd listen back to it and I'm like, I like that.
And that's all that matters.
It's not thinking about, can this go on the radio or this or that. It's just people will listen if they want to.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't worry about what other people want. When we built this place, and I hate to keep going back to this, but there's so many parallels. Like I just started doing this 6 months ago. And when you start doing anything for someone else, you lose your vision. I had so many people saying, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And I'd say, why? I'd say, well, that's what everyone does. I say, well, wouldn't it be better to stand out by not doing what everyone else does?
Exactly.
And then people don't have a response to that because they're so used to doing all the things that all the big people do.
Yeah, like
and
writing a song, they're like, it's verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. And it's like, okay, well, we need to write a bridge here. It's like, what if we don't need a bridge here? What if we don't?
Now you're being different.
Yeah,
and that's how you do. This makes me so happy. Okay, I won't keep you. Again, 3 Hall is the place. Unplugged open mic on Friday night, 6 to 9. Then Brandon will be taking the stage, open up the night on Saturday night. Dude, it's great meeting you. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. And I wish you nothing but success on your little journey here. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Man, I love doing those. Shout out again to our man Brandon and the whole team with Bloom Entertainment and 3 Hall for, like, you saw the excitement there, man. Just doing it right. Bringing back music to Broadway is so sweet. As your show rolls on a Wednesday, a quick shout out to our buddy Dax and the team over at PropertyGuys.com. They're always happy to help you out with all the stuff that you go through when you're buying houses. So I'll be sure to check them out as well. Our friends at Nickel Plumbing and Heating. Ooh, it's not just plumbing. No, they do the heating too. And I'm proof of that. We got a nice new unit in here in the studio that I still need to hook up. So to Dad, if he's watching, tomorrow we got to put the wires back together in thermostat to get the heater going because I think it's getting cool enough now. As well, I want to say hello to a brand new episode of the Bamford Bros podcast. It's a lot of fun as we talk about everything there is going on in the realtor world. It's a great little show, and they do a great service in sort of simplifying things in that sort of side of the world. When you're either looking to buy or sell, they got you covered there. Love all the new shows. Tomorrow, by the way, a brand new All That Angst podcast dropping with Uncle Mike and his all-natural products, as well as our friend Matt from all the bands, including Untimely Demise, Raven Witch, and Into Eternity. It's a great little music show that we have a lot of fun doing. And I just did all the editing today and got it ready to go, so that'll be good as well. The Viewing Room new episodes every Tuesday, which was yesterday. Wayne's World. Yeah, they went on over to watch Wayne's World with Aaron and the team at Coliseum Presents and did a lot of really, really good things. There's the Bamford Bros. Love those guys. Look at them. So handsome. The Bamford & Co. podcast. Wayne's World, the latest one for the Viewing Room as Dragon and LB get in there and they do all the stuff. Reviewing. Look, I got my Aquaman toque on. First toque wear of the back end of 2024. Very excited to throw it back on. Feels good. It keeps the hair out of the way, which I always appreciate. And hey, Deneb Finishing, carpentry. Built this place. This whole booth right here, the tooth booth. Shout out to Dr. Funkhauser as well. We did our golfing yesterday, a little NES Open action. He shot a nice 23 under, which was very impressive. And he was very happy to hear about all the rush we talked about on the show. It wasn't on the podcast, but on your show, the live version that we do after we record AOA. A lot of talk about Rush, and we listen to a lot of Rush like we do every Tuesday. So a lot of good stuff going on there. How are we looking, old friend? All right, we got one more previously recorded segment to go on the show today. And as someone who we love very much, let's hop right into that one, Phenom. You know this woman, not just from her immaculate bangs. You also know her from her social media prowess. As well, you know her as the co-host of the Past Our Bedtime podcast with our good friend Hardcora. Her name is Bruxy. Welcome back, old friend.
Woo!
Woo, party Hey, yeah. How you doing?
I am doing so good.
Please tell me more. Why are you doing so good?
I don't know. I'm just like all of a sudden have the giggles, and then I'm alive and well. I almost choked right before we came on here, and
On a live wire.
yeah, my throat is
Coffee.
feeling it. You could hear my wheeze. Like,
Yeah,
listen, ready?
there's still You still have? Is there a live wire in your throat still?
I don't know.
Are you gonna be okay?
I think so.
Okay. Well,
I feel great. So there's that. I'm just gonna take a little sippy poo.
there you go. Look good, feel good. That's what we're all about around here. So Brooksy has been a very important member of this whole family and this operation, and we love and appreciate all that she does, including when she sends us some updates from her Facebook days.
Yeah, my Facebook memories.
And what we like to do with these is she'll send some, and then I'll read them as Brooksy, and we have a little laugh. When you
Yeah.
say, just a
Yeah.
little laugh, nothing crazy.
I don't think these ones are the craziest. Hopefully.
Oh, they're okay. I
Yeah.
think I can try to funny them up a little bit.
Okay,
We'll see what
funny.
we can
Let's
do.
see her funnying them up.
All right, so yeah. Gee, there's no way this is gonna suck. Hop in the DeLorean and let's go back 10 years ago on this day. Actually, it was on yesterday. She's live wiring again. Don't worry about her. Get it out, bud.
Okay,
You're good.
fine.
You're okay? Mm-hmm. Here we go. This is Brooksy on October 1st. So that would be yesterday, 2014. Got my plane tickets. Officially going to Vancouver. Can't wait to get wild with Kyle and Bree.
It's Kylie.
Kylie and Bree. What did you guys do?
We went to Vancouver and we just partied. Yeah, that's what we did.
That was the
And
trip?
we went to a crazy. Sorry, oh my god, I
okay.
literally dying. We went to a crazy club, which was like one of the first times I've ever been in like a really big club like that.
Yeah, well, you're 10 years ago, you would have been just fresh to the club scene, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm 30.
Yeah, so you'd be like 20?
20 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been clubbing here, which isn't as crazy as like Vancouver. And then I think there was like a game on, like
a
some kind of
sports
sport event.
Like a
we
hockey or a football or
Yeah, I
something?
was in the stadium, so it's probably football.
October would have been, yeah. But
Yeah.
hockey could have been starting too. No,
I
it'd
think
be
it was football.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was like a big game apparently. And so when everyone was out of the game, the whole downtown Vancouver where we're staying was like just everyone was
Party
partying.
down.
It was everyone was so excited. So yeah, we had a really good time. And my friend actually messaged me, Bree, and was like, "Hey, I can't believe this was 10 years ago today. I think it means we should plan another trip."
Oh,
So
no, are you going back?
I don't know where we're going, but we were talking about it.
Interesting.
But we're for sure doing craft night next month. So
Just when you thought you couldn't
made
get
that.
any wilder, off you go with your
We're
craft
old,
night.
We're old now. We both don't drink. So
That's fair. Okay, another one from 10 years ago. You were busy posting on October 1st of 2014.
yep.
This one's a lot more fun. I'm going to try to do it sassy. First, a $280 ticket. Now I broke my phone? What a crappy couple of days. What happened?
It's also is that the same day as
Same day.
So it's like, bro, you're crying over your phone and your ticket, but you're buying a ticket to go partying somewhere. Like, boo hoo.
Immature. Very immature, Brooksy.
Anyway, I got a speeding ticket.
That's what that was for?
Or actually, I might have got it might have been a distracted driving ticket.
Don't distract drive. Bad move.
No, and it was.
How'd you break the phone?
The phone? Dropped it probably on rocks.
Classic.
That's like the only time I've ever broken my phone. But
That's fair.
if it was the distracted driving ticket, like I was changing the music on my iPod. So I think it actually was probably speeding ticket because if I had a phone at that point.
Not smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to go back 11 years ago.
No. Why are you giggling?
Just because it's so ridiculous. This is Brooksy, 11 years ago, on Facebook, updating her statuses. Yeah. Feels so good to be inside of my car again.
The way you said it.
Greater than 3.
Heart.
Heart.
Yeah.
Why were you not inside your car? Was it gone for a while?
Yes. I think oh yeah. So it would have been snowing.
Okay.
I think there was a big snowfall.
October 1st, 2013?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And you're just going to get in your car? So you
And
just missed it
my
so much?
car got stuck and I was trying to reverse and go forward and reverse and go forward and then all the lights turned on in my car and then it stopped working. So I'm pretty sure
The car had enough.
Because I didn't know how to drive. It was either that or I don't know, because I didn't get my license till like way later in life. Like I was like well in my 20s. So
Congratulations. This is still fresh for you.
yeah, so it's like new. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened, which is weird to think because it's so nice right now to think that there was snow.
Yeah.
That was my boot.
That's a weird sound.
That was my boot.
Okay. Well, I'm happy you caught that.
Yeah.
One more for you.
Okay.
And this is great. This is 14 years ago. Must have been a run of some sort because all you said was Red Mile.
What year was that?
2010.
2010 Red Mile.
Was that when the Flames were doing their Red Mile thing?
No, at Bedford, where I went to school. The very first game that was at Gordie Howe, we, as a school, would all walk to Gordie Howe wearing red, and we called it the Red Mile because you walk from Bedford to Gordie Howe.
Okay, all right.
And it was like super fun. And usually people would try to like drink or whatever without like getting caught.
Sneaky.
Yeah, so I don't know if we did it then, but it does remind me when I was in grade 12.
Uh-oh.
Everyone knows, like, it was the last year that we're ever able to freshie people too. So we like freshied our people, we got them all dressed up, and then we all decided to like drink and probably smoke. And I had the principal come up to me right before we were about to leave and pulled me aside. And as we're walking, my friend Amanda was walking behind me. And then the principal looks at her and was like, I didn't say your name. She's like, oh, and then like ran. I was like, you're so obvious because we're like pretty drunk. And he like pulls me aside and he's like, hey, like, I know that you know like the in and outs of the school and a lot of people. So if you know if anyone's drinking or if anyone's smoking, you tell us like right away, blah, blah, blah. And I was
There's
like,
only one proper response to that. And that only response is, sir, snitches get stitches. Bro.
yeah, no, I just said,
That's all you said.
I said,
You ain't gonna
okay, as I'm drunk. I'm surprised he probably,
Light up a spliff when you're
I didn't
walking
even
away.
know. I was so drunk. And I went to my friends. I was like, guys, sober up until we leave.
They're on to us.
His name was Mr. Hanky.
No. Like the Christmas poo from South Park?
Yeah.
That's a tough
I was
name.
like, run away
That's
before.
a tough name for a teacher.
Yeah, and it was sad because we used to have Mr. He's a Hilltops coach, Sergeant, as our principal.
Yes.
And then my grade 12 year, he left. And so Mr. Hanky was the vice principal. And he was the worst, and he was always getting us in trouble. And then he's the reason why freshening stopped, basically. He's like, none of this.
Again, probably for the best, as people like to get carried away with the freshiness.
Yeah, no, we were kind of
was a
like
different
chill
kind.
about it. We
Yes.
just like dressed them up, and
That's good.
then we invited them to parties.
See,
We're
that's
all
the
friends.
thing. When it's done properly, it's great.
Yeah.
It's just the
ones who don't do it properly,
Yeah, not good.
psychos.
We got a picture of your car here, and I'm very excited for this. So this is the final one from 11 years ago. And Brooksy posted a picture of said car. Is that a Cobalt? It looks like a Cobalt.
It's a Cobalt, yeah, and it's
Dude.
black, and it has a green spoiler, or is that what it's
yeah,
called?
yeah, this is a spoiler.
A bright
I
lime green
also-
spoiler.
I also had a 2007 Chevy Cobalt.
Really?
That's the one that I donated to Terry and the gang over at Buck's Auto Parts.
I remember
You were
going there with
I
you
know,
and
it's
doing
one of the
that.
saddest days. This was exactly like my car.
Mine's a sport.
So not exactly. Yeah, I didn't have the sporty spoiler. This one says, got my car back. Just need people to teach me how to drive so I can get my license at the end of October. Any volunteers? Did you have any volunteers?
No, but that car
Mhm.
I had for a very long time, and I got my license before, or my driver's before everyone, but nobody was teaching me how to drive. So my friends all eventually got their drivers, and they would drive my car. I never drove my car. So for years, my car was just for my friends to drive, and they would drive me places and
Sweet
whatever.
move.
And then
Provide the car and then they provide the drivers.
yeah, and then I had, I think that, no, I had a car before that actually. That was a Sunfire. And that car I never drove once. I got it for my 18th birthday, and I never drove it. Just my friends drove it because I never got my actual drivers. And then I got that car. Only drove it for like 3 years, and then I got my Jeep. And yeah, anyway, so I got a car for my birthday, and I never drove it once. That's basically.
See, most people, when they get a car for their birthday, they're motivated to get their license as well.
Yeah, but nobody was teaching, and I went a bunch of times and I failed.
That's fair.
Like,
No, I hear you.
The
It's tough.
first time I went, I accidentally drove into the oncoming traffic lane, and I
Nice.
like 30 seconds into, and they're like, "You need to go back. You failed." I was like, "Okay," And then the second time I didn't know how to use my car because it was like my stepdad's like American car.
Ooh,
So
tough one.
so we couldn't figure out how to turn on the heat, and it started raining and it was getting foggy, so we had to pull over, and we were both trying to figure out how to use my car. So I failed. Yeah, for not
I
knowing
failed
how.
5 times. 5 times in my Dodge Shadow that I have. It was my granny's back in the day,
Yeah.
and I drive her all the time now, the old 93 Shadow, but I failed 5 times before I got it. And one of the times I backed out, and the lady who had judged me a couple times before looked at me and just wrote down a bunch of stuff. And I was like, did you just fail me before we even left the parking lot? She says, it doesn't matter if I did or if I didn't. We have to continue. I said, okay. We got to an intersection. It was red. No one was going either way. And I looked at her. I go, well, since it doesn't matter, turned left on the red light, circled right back and went and parked. She was like, oh my God, what are you doing? I was like, well, it doesn't matter, right? So whatever, I'll try again next time. Parked, and she was so upset.
Gary.
I was so mad though. Like, I didn't even do anything. She wouldn't tell me what I did. So then I was acted up, and it was bad. But eventually we got the license.
You might not have even failed. She was just messing with you. And
Oh, she
also,
failed me. She
I
was really wanting to fail me.
I am gonna say, for some reason, which sucks, but I failed 4 times. All 4 times it was a female driver.
Oh, here we go.
And on my 5th time, I had a male driver, and he let me parallel park with one car on like the most emptiest street
Perfect.
ever, and
Just felt
everything
bad
was
for you.
so easy.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other people would be like mid busiest part of downtown, like you can barely fit your car in the
true test.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think my 4 or my 5 times that I failed was with a woman, and then the first guy I got passed me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. And then you're so worried, and then this guy's like so chill, And anyway.
They can sense it. It's
I
funny.
know.
They're like
I
animals.
was
They
about
can
to.
sense those feelings.
I was about to go to Rossern to take it because
The old small
my
town
dad
trick,
lives
eh?
there, and I
no,
was
that's
like,
what people would do.
I literally can't take this test downtown Saskatoon ever again because and then I got scared. Like,
It's too extreme down there. I don't like it.
yeah.
Downtown is hard.
Yeah, and then
driving.
somebody like ran behind my car as I'm trying to parallel park, and the girl like screamed and was like, "You're gonna hit them!" And I was like,
I'm
"No,
doing a test. Leave me alone.
I was like, "No, I'm not. Leave me alone." And then another person was like honking at me, and I was like, "Bros, like I'm in my test. I'm just trying to parallel park.
Let
Stop
me have
honking
this.
at me."
Just let me have this.
And that's what happened too when I turned into the oncoming traffic lane. Somebody was honking for me to go, but there was a semi blocking the road.
Too extreme.
So I got all scared and I turned because they were honking at me. Stop honking at people unless you're
Oh.
doing it to say hi.
So good. Well, this has been driver tests and how to fail them with Bangs and Gary. Thank you so much, dude. Her name is Brooksy. You know her from the Past Our Bedtime podcast, as well as Wendy Brooks Media. If you hate social media as much as we do, find this woman and she makes it all better. Thank you so much for all that you do, dude. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll talk to you on Friday, hopefully, if we can get you. Maybe.
Yes.
We'll see.
We'll see. Bye.
So there you go. Another incredible show wrapping up here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. This is your show. And a big thank you to everybody today who stopped by, including Coach number 1, a.k.a. Adrian, a.k.a. AJ, as well as Coach number 2 with a T-O-O. We changed his name on the fly today. He also goes by Coach Mazer. Had a great talk about Pete Rose and Barry Bonds not being in the Hall of Fame. Very interesting. As well, thank you to our buddy Brandon, who will be playing Friday night, possibly if he can get in. The unplugged open mic from 6 to 9 at 3 Halls going down and is busy. I think it might be signed up and packed in already, but you can continue to try to get in there. And then Saturday night for sure, he's playing the opening spot over at 3 Halls. So thank you to him for checking in. And to Brooksy, of course, for always giving us a laugh or two. And as well, the Phenom, this guy right here. Look at that. Just a hand. How does he do it? I don't know. It's crazy. But he crushed it today. Thank you so much for all that you do, brother. We'll be back tomorrow. Matt Young from CTV will be stopping by, and we'll be fixing up some more controllers. I believe we're doing Nintendo controllers tomorrow, so we are looking very forward to that. And all of the other fun stuff that goes on here with your show. Remember, karma is very, very, very real. Start doing good things. You'll notice it'll start happening to you, and that's how we make the world a better place. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. We did it, Maggie.